You are driving. You are driving in a steady rain. A good indicator that hydroplaning can occur is when you see bubble splashes on the road. You as beginning drivers need to take your time. You need to reduce your speed. You got to analyze the driving environment. If you don't analyze the driving environment, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. When roads are slippery, you should avoid making turns and stops that are really jerky. You want to go into the turn smooth. You want to squeeze your brake. You want to be as smooth as possible. A lot of beginning drivers slam brakes, slam gas, and when you slam brakes and gas, you're going to end up upsetting the balance of the car. The best way to prevent skidding on a slippery road is to steer and brake smoothly and gradually. You never want to jerk the brake or jerk the gas. You've got to have balance, and you'll find that out once you start driving. It won't happen in the first 30 days or 45 days, but a couple of months in, you'll learn how smoothly to hit the brake and smoothly to hit the gas. The primary problem associated with front wheel lockup when braking on a slippery surface is the inability to steer. We know temperatures are dropping. There's going to be more ice. There's going to be more snow. A lot of schools across the country have called school off. So you as beginning drivers, you got to take your time. You got to be patient. To slow or stop gradually on ice, you want to use light, steady pressure, smoothly and gently. On wet roads, drive in the tire tracks of other vehicles ahead of you. So you want to look down the road. You want to see what's going on. You want to see that track. There's a track to the left. There's a track to the right. You want to drive in the grooves. A lot of beginners drive off the groove to the right, so you're drifting off the road to the right. Or a lot of beginners drive off the groove to the left. Try to stay in the grooves. On wet roads, in the tracks of other vehicles ahead, the major reason for loss of traction while driving in snow is sudden movements and quick movements. If your vehicle is skidding, you should turn the wheels in the direction you want to go. In a rear wheel power skid, your vehicle's rear wheels are spinning. If you have a front wheel drive car, the front wheels are spinning. If your vehicle begins to lose traction, you should gradually apply brakes. If your vehicle loses traction, most difficult to identify quickly is hydroplaning. Hydro is water. Plane means to lift, so your car is riding on water. So you got to reduce your speed. You can actually feel your tires lift and slide to the right, slide to the left. It's kind of scary, so you want to reduce your speed, and you can feel the tires just get back down on the surface, and then you'll be at peace. It's kind of scary. My heart's beating right now thinking about it. Where cruise control works best, it's best on slippery roads. That is false. Cruise control should only be used on clear, dry days where you can see, and you want to be careful. What is black ice? Black ice is a thin sheet of invisible ice that you can't see. It matches the asphalt. It's everywhere. If your vehicle with anti-lock brakes and you're applying the brakes for emergency stop, you should apply full pressure. If your car has anti-lock brakes, you'll have a little symbol on the dashboard, or you have a little symbol on your brake pad. You want to hit that brake and lock it, and then you'll feel the brake pedal pulsate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's when you know the ABS is in effect. And if you get scared and lift up your brake, you're going to end up skidding more. In a front wheel power skid, your front wheels are accelerating. On freezing wet days, roadways on bridges and overpasses freeze first. This is why you see signs. So when you're on that bridge, you're on that embankment, you got to reduce your speed because you will spin off the road. If the front left tire blows while you are driving, your vehicle will pull sharply to the left. This is true. So you want to hold that brake. You want to lift your brake. You don't want to hit the brake. You want to hold that wheel and steer the car smoothly until you regain control. If you overturn the vehicle, you could roll off the road to the right or to the left. If you experience sudden brake failure while driving, you should rapidly pump the brakes. There's a hydraulic line from the front and the rear, and there's a brake reservoir. It's like a can, and it has hydraulic fluid in there. So when you squeeze the brake, it pushes a plunger in, and that plunger pushes hydraulic fluid out. Hydraulic brake failure is very rare, but if it does happen, you want to squeeze the brakes because there's still fluid in there. What should you do if your brakes completely fail? All the above. Pump your brakes, downshift to a lower gear. If you're in drive, you can downshift to 3, 2, 1. You can use the transmission. Those lower gears to slow you down. You can look for an open escape spot, a side of the road. You don't want to aim for a tree. You don't want to aim for a wall. You want to use your emergency brake. It's almost like a kind of a drifting deal where you pull that e-brake up, but you got to be careful. If you don't use that e-brake a long time, it will rust. And if you pull it up real hard, it's going to lock. So you want to pull it up gently and slow down. Pull it up gently and slow down. If your accelerator pedal sticks, you need to stop quickly. You should apply and put the car in neutral. Neutral disconnects the motor from the transmission, and then the car is kind of free moving. So you got to have that in emergency situations in your brain. Your vehicle's in a traffic emergency may collide with another vehicle if you do not take action. A good rule to remember is that you can almost always swerve to miss a vehicle more quickly than you can stop. This is true. You always want to think of a side swipe. You never want to hit a vehicle head on because your impact and their impact will mix together, and this is when you have a horrific accident. So think of a side swipe to the right or a side swipe to the left. The best way to control consequences if you cannot avoid a collision is to hit something at an angle. The crumple zone. There are 4 crumple zones. Do I have that little car with me? I do not. Let's pretend this is your car. There's a crumple zone in the left front corner, right front corner, left rear corner, right rear corner. This crumple zone will actually crumple up. That's how your car is designed, to crumple up and protect the occupants, the life inside the vehicle. In an emergency, if an emergency vehicle is approaching heavy traffic, if possible, you should move to the right edge of the road and stop. True. We're driving in North America. You always want to pull over to the side of the road. If you can't, the emergency vehicle will circumvent. They will drive through traffic. If a law enforcement officer with his vehicle emergency flashers lights are on has a stopped vehicle to the right side of the road, you should try to move over 1 lane to the left if possible, or slow down and give them room. Many states across the United States have something called a move over law. Construction vehicles around construction zones are usually large and slow moving. So it's 45 miles an hour. You've got to reduce your speed. People out there working. In most cold weather, most cold medications can make a person drowsy. So you want to be mindful. You want to read the labels. It is your responsibility to know how your medication affects you. This is true. The use of what drug can affect a person's coordination and impair a driver's coordination and judgment. This is marijuana. In many states across the United States, marijuana is legal, but it's still a drug, so it's a slippery slope. You do not want to consume that or be around someone who's consuming that when you're driving. You got to make good decisions. The danger of driving with antihistamines on a long trip, that can create a false sense, amphetamines that can create a false sense of alertness. The biggest issue with using cell phones is the mental distraction. This is true. You have to listen to it. You have to analyze it, and by that time you ran a light. By that time you have went off the road. So don't use your cell phone. How many drinks can a person be affected? How many drinks can a person have before being affected? 1. The first drink will affect your ability, so don't drink and drive. The implied consent law are designed to penalize the driver to refusal to take a breath test or blood alcohol concentration level. Impaired depth perception in drivers who drink alcohol cause them to perceive something that is actually closer. This is true. Alcohol is a depressant. It relaxes the muscles in your eye. This is why you can't focus. The first skill to be lost under drivers under influence is judgment. You want to make good decisions. Aggressive driving is driving a vehicle in a selfish or pushy or bold way. So a lot of times why you will drive aggressive, you're late to school, you're late coming home, you're late to work, you're late beating mom and dad home. So give yourself more time. Once confronted with an aggressive driver, what is the first thing you should do? Make every attempt to get away from them. We're human. We all make mistakes. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. So what I need you to do is apologize, keep moving. Don't take them back to your home. An anger management technique is not responding, taking a deep breath, and counting to 10. People will always make you mad, always try to get under your skin, always blame you for their shortcomings. What I need all of you to do is just keep it moving. Don't retaliate. One way to avoid aggressive drivers is not driving the fast lane, the left lane. The left lane is for people who are passing and they're pushing really hard. If you're driving at 50 in the left lane, you're going to have everyone upset at you. Don't drive slow in the left lane. Get to the middle lane or get to the right lane. What is the sign of aggressive driver? Frequently crossing the center line, weaving in and out of traffic, driving over the speed limit. All of these are characteristics of an aggressive driver. When you see this, kind of back off, give them room. They could lose control. If you are driving and simply cannot keep your eyes open, pull over to a safe spot. Relax. Take your time.
Mr. McCaney.